Hey DJ girl, welcome back. I had another epiphany. A lot of times when I talk to you guys about this, I'm sure I'm not the only one who goes through it. So I think we can benefit from each other. Whether it's by me sharing advice or sharing a story, and you guys can obviously say, "Oh yeah, I went through this too," and so and so. Okay. This isn't a recent thing. It's happened in my life more than once, unfortunately. And it can happen to any one of you guys. It can happen at work. It can happen with your cousins. It can happen with anything really. Today I'm gonna talk about like being taken advantage of, and when you should stand up for yourself. For example, this is gonna be a very simple, silly example. Let's say I got a present, okay? It's a very nice present. It's this, okay? And I love chocolates. I'm like, wow, I'm gonna save it. It's just gonna be for something I can enjoy. It's my birthday. I want like a little pick-me-up later. But then you see, you put it in your bedroom, okay? And then you see, and then you leave the bedroom, and you notice that either this is gone, the whole box is gone, or the box that was not touched before, a few pieces are missing. And you're like, what? What's happening? So then you go around, you ask your sisters, you ask anyone in your house that has access to your room, what happened here? And then you notice, for example, the person who did this was your like your little sister. So you're like, you're shocked, you're standing aghast. And you realize that this is a child, and one time is fine, right? But then it becomes a habit. Why does it become a habit? Because the first time you didn't say anything. You're like, oh no, it's fine. She's a child, whatever. I'm sure she won't do it again. But then when she does it again and again and again, you're like, you know what? I need to do something. So maybe you go to your mom. Mama, so and so keeps on taking my chocolate. And then maybe your mom is like, okay, but she's a kid. So what? But you're like, okay, but like I bought it. Like it could be. This could be something you bought yourself, or you could tell your mom, like, you know what, this was a present. Why could she do that? She's like, no. Like, for example, your mom is just taking your sister's side, but you're irritated on the inside. You're like, no, but what is this? I can't do this my whole life. Do I have to move out to enjoy my chocolate? Of course not. But you're like, no, I don't want to stand for this anymore. Why isn't my mom taking my side? Why isn't she taking me seriously? Why? So what do? We've talked about this briefly in an earlier video. You could go stand up for yourself and tell your mom, Mama, you know what? I don't like how Thajba, my sister, keeps on taking my chocolates. What's going on? Must I lock my door? Is that what it comes down to? And then your mom's gonna tell you something like, no, don't lock your door. Because how else would they tidy the bed? How else would they clean the room? And don't be silly. But in the end, you may be disappointed. Because you feel like maybe they're looking at you like, no, you're really nice. We can do anything we want. So let's do it. Where does it stop? What is your breaking point? Maybe you are a chocolatier, a chocolate lover. What would you do? Let's say you talk to your mom again, once, twice, 3 times before. Sometimes it will have to lead to like raising your voice at a higher octave. Sometimes it may lead to having a stern talking, not like, Mama, Tara Thajba took my... Sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes it could, but sometimes it doesn't work. At the end of the day, whether Thajba, your sister, is stealing your chocolate, or sorry, not or just taking your chocolates time and time again, and nobody, like the right authorities, but by that I mean your mother, they're not taking it seriously, not taking your complaint seriously, then perhaps the next line of action would be to have a sit down with her and raise your octave a little bit. Be like, Mama, I don't like the fact that she did this. She needs to take me seriously, and if she doesn't, I understand, she's a child. But you need to take me seriously. I paid money for my chocolate, and I don't make a lot of money. So I would really respect the fact that my sister doesn't come into my room whenever she wants. These are my own things. We have a comment from one of the viewers. She says it's also, you can talk to him or her that what they're doing is very bad. Yeah, that's excellent. That's a perfect way of saying this. It doesn't have like your response doesn't have to be financially related. It doesn't have to be, you know what, I don't have any more money because I can't buy more chocolates because the Ajwa took it. You can just talk about how disrespectful this is, how you feel like they're not taking you seriously. You feel like you don't feel nice about it. You feel like you can't trust them. And also the person, thanks G, the person who was commenting also said they should ask you first. So if they want, they need to wait for someone to say okay. For example, if it was me, if Thajba, my sister, came to me and said, oh, can I have chocolate? I would have said, yes, of course. Of course. It's not the matter of taking it. It's the matter of taking it without asking. Because when that happens, we all know what that means. That means it's like stealing. And of course, we all know that stealing is not good. It's not nice. It's haram. It's so many bad things. Now, I'm just using the silly example of my beautiful chocolate being stolen. But I hope you take this into consideration. This could be applicable in more than one stance, in more than one industry. It could be at home, like with the chocolate, or it could be at work, people taking advantage of you, just giving you more and more and more things to do, okay? But of course, like, God forbid, your pay won't get higher even though you're working more. That's an awful situation. What do you do then? It's a very good reason for you to go and talk to your supervisor. Hi, Miss So-and-so. I really love working here. I really love it. But I don't understand why am I getting more work to do in a department that's not related to my department? Could you explain that? Oh no, we just for example, we just think you love working and you don't mind working so much. So we thought we would take advantage of that and give you more things to do. Now, when that happens, what would you do? And this is coming from your supervisor. Not your mother, not the Ajba, but your supervisor. What would you do? What I would suggest is saying, you know what? I'm so sorry, Miss So-and-so, but I don't really have time to work in both departments, in my department and another department. If you insist on that happening, maybe we could look at you giving me an increment in my salary. That way, I think I would be eager to work in both departments, because nobody should work doing more than one thing at the same time, or like in two departments, right? For no compensation. That's not nice. That's not nice at all. When has this ever happened to you? Whether like in terms of being taken advantage of, have you ever felt this way? Have you actually gone to the appropriate person and talked to them about this? Have you actually ever gone to your supervisor and told them, listen, I don't appreciate being taken advantage of. I don't appreciate feeling disrespected, which is a topic we'll talk about another time. I don't appreciate everybody just expecting me to do everything and expecting me, for example, to be the last one that leaves my job, because it takes so much time out of my day, which I can't do during the day. So I have to maybe do overtime. I honest to God hope this doesn't happen to any one of you guys. But like I said before, this can happen. And we need to approach these situations the correct way. Of course, I would never encourage anyone to go to their boss and just yell, I don't want to do this. I don't like it. I quit. No. Nobody wins that way. Nobody will ever win that way. You just sit down, talk to your boss, talk to your supervisor, talk to somebody. You can even talk to somebody you trust. It could be a friend who works in either one of those departments, or even the friends in any place in the workplace, and just take advice from her. So, Sabicha, this and this is happening. I don't like it. I don't appreciate them taking advantage of me. What do you think I should do? It's always nice to talk to somebody who works in the same place as you, who can understand where you're coming from. Okay, so she won't have to imagine Mr. X. She didn't know who Mr. X is. So she'd be like, you know what, Mr. X is a nice person to talk to. He's very understanding. I encourage you, why don't you go and talk to him? He's not scary. He's very nice. Actually, I remember when I first started working at where I work right now, I was going through a lot of personal issues. And I remember I was working as a teaching assistant with this teacher who was taking advantage of me, a lot of advantage. And I felt like the biggest fool in the world. I felt like, unfortunately at the time, because I was going through so much, I felt like my head was like this. Like I was too fixated on these issues, like the personal issues. So I didn't feel like I was brave enough to go and talk to this person, the teacher I was working under. I felt like I couldn't go to her and be like, you know what, Miss So-and-so, I don't appreciate the fact that you're disrespecting me openly. I don't appreciate the fact that you're yelling at me in front of the students. I don't appreciate X, Y, and Z. I didn't feel like I was brave. I didn't feel like I had the right to do that. I'm here to tell you, no matter what you do for a living, no matter where you hide your chocolates, whatever it may be, you will always have the right. No one can take advantage of you, or no one can take advantage of you, and no one should take advantage of you. That's the worst thing that could ever happen. So please, 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 be courageous enough to stand up for yourself, and be courageous enough to realize that you don't deserve to feel like shit. You don't deserve for others to take advantage of you. I'm just smiling just thinking about those days with that employee doesn't work with us anymore, and it's just like it took me back to a long time. But anyways, I digress. Have you ever gone through something like this? Have you ever thought that, you know what, I'm not worthy of standing up for myself? I'm not worthy of people listening to me. Well, I'm here to tell you, you are more than worthy of anything you desire, especially when it comes to people taking things from you. They could take your pride. They could take your chocolates. They could steal from you. The sky is the limit. But you have a limit. You can only take so much. And always remember, till when are you going to take that much? And why are you going to take this much? Are you getting like $1 million dinars like as compensation? Are you okay with that? If you are, then that's one thing. If money is so important to you, sometimes you can put up with all this nonsense. And you're like, you know what? You can go to work thinking, you know what? I'm just doing this for the money. All I want, I will put up with being disrespected. I will put up with being taken advantage of. But I don't feel comfortable standing up for myself. I don't encourage that, but I honestly believe how you feel internally when you go to work every single day, do you feel respected? Do you feel like this is a safe environment for you? If the answer to those two are no, and if the answer to I don't care about the money, I care about how people treat me, if that answer is no, then I think it's time for you to start doing something about it. Start by talking to your supervisor. Start by talking to your the head of the department, because you deserve more than that. You really do. As usual, let me know if this has ever happened to you. If you would like to talk about it, I'm more than willing and happy to hear. We can always talk about it privately.